Hello, we are back with transplanting tomatoes. Again, there are 100 videos out there on how to do this. This is simply our method on how to go about the process. First, let's take a look at our tomatoes. Most of these tomatoes were planted at the exact same time. And you will note some of them are in different stages of development. We have some that are just coming up and getting their cotyledons. Like, let's see if I can find some. Like this one right here, just coming up and getting his first two non-true leaves, cotyledons. And then you have some that are beginning to get their first true leaves to come out. And then you have some that are in a little bit more advanced stages of getting their leaves out. Then we have these guys here who decided to grow extremely rapidly. And these leaves aren't your typical shaped tomato leaves, but if you notice, you have your two cotyledons and then your first true leaves right here. So once you get some good, sturdy, true leaves, we are ready to transplant each little plant into a pot of its own. Now, I also want to point out the growth of these. Again, if you remember, we put one in each corner and one in the middle. So we can calculate our germination rate and our viability rate of the different seeds. Looks like we still have one coming up here, so I wouldn't give up on them totally yet. Here's what you need to start out with. First, wash your hands. I don't know where your hands have been, so go ahead and give them a good washing first. Second, you need a cup. We are going to be doing solo cups. And we are going to be color coding our solo cups, so please check the board for what color your particular tomato will get. Because these are not pots, you need to poke holes in the bottom of your solo cup. And the way that I did that is I took one of our wonderful sticks here that we use for flower arranging, and I just shoved it in the bottom about 4 times. Okay, so once you have some holes in your cup, you're going to go through and you're going to label your cups. These are Barlow Japanese, and so I have labeled them on there. Please make sure you use a pen or wax pencil that is going to stay. My preference is Sharpie, and a Sharpie color that you can see. And every single cup needs to be clearly labeled. Keep in mind, when we sell these later in the spring, we need to know exactly what every single cup is growing. And with cups getting mixed up periodically, the cup needs to be clearly labeled. Okay. So now I've added some soil to this cup. Okay, again, it's moist soil like we did before. I have my soil mixing bucket right there. And we're going to go in and get one of these tomatoes. Now, a couple ways you can do this. You can use the stake to tease them out. You can use a popsicle stick. You can use a spoon. Whatever you use, please just make sure it is clean. Okay, so I'm going to take this guy, and I'll make sure to put that label back in because I'm only taking one. And I'm going to dig out this one here in the corner. Okay. We're going to kind of tease him out of there. Now, the reason why I didn't have you plant them so closely together is because if you can do this, that's not a problem at all. That's pretty easy. So we want to put this guy in the cup so that the dirt is going to cover this entire stem all the way up until there's those first true leaves. Okay? The entire stem. And that might be challenging for me to do one-handed, but I'll see if I can give it a go. I'm going to have to take a little bit of this soil out. Put that back. Okay. He's going to go a little bit deeper. Okay. All along this stem here, he will grow roots and be a much sturdier plant if we can get all of that underground versus try to rely on it becoming a thicker stem. Okay. So we want that to end up being root. And this is where your hands are going to get a little dirty, okay? Don't be afraid of the dirt. It washes off, and it's actually cleaner than most things you touch throughout the day. So, I'm going to get this guy buried as deep as we can possibly get him to go, okay? He'll have a nice root ball when we're done with him, and in a couple weeks, ready to be transplanted out into the garden. Voila. Okay, ideally, if you have two hands doing this, he'll be in the middle, but it doesn't really matter. So I'm not going to pack down too hard, okay? I just pressed it firmly so he would stand upright. And there we go. We have our little tiny tomato in his own big cup, and he will grow into a nice, healthy, giant-looking tomato by the time it's ready to transplant, okay? So this is about a week and a half after he was first planted, and yeah, this guy should be pretty healthy, as will the rest of them. All right, when you are done with your cups, you're going to place them into trays. All the trays, fill as many as you need, and make sure the trays that you fill them with also have holes in the bottom. These trays do not have holes, so you'll have to go hunting for the trays that do. That's preferable. You can use these are fine, but we want to get some good drainage on them, okay? And then just place them back on their shelf where they belong. Thank you.